Alright, today I wanted to talk about an older Cosmic Skeptic video called What is Atheism? Atheism versus Agnosticism Explained, which came out in March of last year. Now, you might be asking yourself why I'd bother. It's an older video, and you might be thinking it's not really worth responding to at this point, but I disagree. When it first came out, I watched it and remember thinking that I should respond, but I have a notoriously short attention span and it kind of drifted off my radar. Especially once I saw that fellow YouTuber Nightmare Fuel addressed it before I could. And of course I'll leave a link to his response in the description box in case you're interested in watching it. Anyhow, I was watching YouTube videos last night and ran across a small channel who happened to be talking about Cosmic Skeptic's video, and here's a bit of what he had to say.
I know that a lot of atheists still think anti-theists are, well, something that they're not. Now, there's a video by Cosmic Skeptic out there. It's about, he has this chart where he shows theist, agnostic theist, agnostic atheist, and anti-theist, which I sort of, I don't think it's an accurate chart. Now, this is something I learned recently because I was sort of misled by Cosmic Skeptic's video. That specific video, not all of his videos. He makes great videos.
After watching that video, I realized I'd made a mistake in not responding the first time around. I regard myself as an anti-theist, and I believe Cosmic Skeptic put out a hefty amount of misinformation about anti-theists and anti-theism in general when he published that video. Now, I'm not accusing him of doing so maliciously. I think it's highly likely he just got it wrong, and I hope this video somehow reaches him so he might reconsider his position, and perhaps he'll make a video correcting his initial mistakes. He starts off his video explaining the differences between different sorts of atheists and theists. I'm not a fan of the whole conversation. Personally, using his definitions, I'd fall within the agnostic atheist umbrella because I don't think I know for certain whether or not a god exists, but I don't believe in a god either. I find the agnostic label when combined with atheism to be really not needed. I'm technically agnostic about everything. I'm agnostic about whether I'm actually typing this manuscript, about whether my fiancé is sleeping in the other room, or whether what I'm experiencing is real. I could be a brain in a vat or part of a computer simulation, but for all intents and purposes, calling myself an agnostic about these types of things isn't necessary. I'm agnostic about God in the same way as I'm agnostic about elves, or ghosts, or invisible, lazy-eyed pink dragons, who, by the way, can eat a god. However, I'm not really interested in the philosophical definition of atheism versus the everyday use of the word, except for how he defines a Gnostic atheist and then conflates that with anti-theism. So let's jump into Alex's video and you can see what I mean for yourself.
However, not every atheist falls within this category. Some atheists will tell you that they do actively disbelieve in God, and this leads me on to my next point. Do atheists disbelieve in God, or do they simply lack a belief in God? The answer? Well, both. Again, it depends on who you ask, but there are absolutely people out there who will tell you with certainty that there is no God, and these people often go by the label of anti-theists.
No. That isn't what an anti-theist is. In this video, Alex uses a dictionary definition of atheism, and so I'll use the dictionary definition of anti-theism, which I found in the Oxford Dictionary. Anti-theist, opposed to belief in the existence of a god or gods, or a person who is opposed to belief in the existence of a god or gods. Like I said earlier, if I used the definition of atheism that Alex uses in his video, I'd be an agnostic atheist, yet I'm against belief in the existence of a god because I don't think it's true. I'm not 100% sure there is no God, but I'm not 100% sure of anything, and that doesn't prevent me from taking a stance on other issues either. My type of anti-theism doesn't mean I want to see religious people locked up, I don't want religion outlawed, I don't want religious people oppressed, and I would protect their right to believe in something I think is silly. However, I do want less religion. I want less superstition, less doctrines of hell being taught, less religiously motivated beheadings, less theocracies, and so on and so forth. I want to accomplish that by using words and having conversations. I'm against God belief and religion because I think they're not true, and I believe we should be basing our ethics, our philosophies, and our societies on things that are true. Another example of an anti-theist would be Christopher Hitchens. Here's what he said about his anti-theism. I'm not even an atheist so much as an anti-theist. I not only maintain that all religions are versions of the same untruth, but I hold that the influence of churches and the effect of religious belief is positively harmful. Reviewing the false claims of religion, I do not wish, as some sentimental materialists affect to wish, that they were true. I do not envy believers their faith. I am relieved to think that the whole story is a sinister fairy tale. Life would be miserable if what the faithful affirmed was actually true. There may be people who wish to live their lives under cradle-to-grave divine supervision, a permanent surveillance and monitoring, but I cannot imagine anything more horrible or grotesque. And here's what he said about certainty that his position was the right one.
The atheist proposition is the following, most of the time. It may not be said that there is no God. It may be said that there is no reason to think that there is one. That was the situation after Lucretius and Democritus and the original anti-theistic thinkers began their critique of religion. The big difference between this side of the house, mine, and the other, is this. I am absolutely certain that I do not know, but that it might be possible to find out, and that doubt and skepticism and innovation and inquiry are the only means by which wonder and beauty and awe and symmetry will be discovered, and beyond those peaks we can yet see, new, more wonderful peaks will rise. Whereas, on the Wilson side of the house, it is said, we already have the certainty. We know that God created us, and we even claim to know his mind and what he wants of us. And I just invite you to open your minds to the possibility that the skeptical and the inquiring and the doubtful will be better than anything that calls itself faith. Because anything that calls itself faith calls itself certainty. And for certainty, I think there is no place in an institute of intellectual mentation and higher education.
Now, does that sound like someone who says with certainty that there is no God? And I doubt anyone would argue that Hitch wasn't an anti-theist.
You can also think of it in terms of this exceedingly well-produced graph, which on the y-axis represents knowledge of there being no God versus no knowledge, and on the x-axis represents disbelief versus belief. You can say that you don't know if there's a God and therefore you don't believe in one, and that makes you an agnostic atheist. You can say that you do know that there is no God and therefore don't believe in one, and that makes you this anti-theist we were talking about. You can say that you don't know if there's a God but you believe there's a God, and that makes you a theist, or you can say that you know there is no God but you believe in God, and frankly that just makes you an idiot.
I believe what Alex was going for here was this graph, and you can see that anti-theism doesn't appear on it at all. Again, you don't have to say you're certain that no God exists in order to be an anti-theist. I think spreading this sort of misinformation, even if it is unintentional, is harmful. It makes anti-theists seem irrational and hateful. I don't know how many times I've seen comments in my videos telling me that anti-theism is a religion, or that anti-theists are just as fundamental and certain of their claims as the most ardent of theists. And while some of them might act that way, and or may claim that they're certain that no God exists, it is in no way a requirement of anti-theism. It shouldn't be treated as one. Alex is right to say that to be an atheist you can lack a belief or disbelieve in a God, but he's completely and utterly wrong about anti-theism. Oh, and by the way, youth, you are wrong about Satanism as well.
A very good example of anti-theists would be Satanists. They definitely believe in God, but they believe that they should rather follow Satan because they see God as the antagonist in the picture.
You can see here by this screenshot that LaVeyan Satanists don't believe in God. Question: why do Satanists worship the devil? Answer: we don't. Satanists are atheists. We see the universe as being indifferent to us, and so all morals and values are subjective human constructions. Anyhow, I'll likely expand on what I mean when I say I'm an anti-theist in a future video, but I think that will do for this one. I hope you enjoyed this video. Let me know what you think in the comment section below. Take care and cheers.